Right now at noon, opening statements have begun in the rape trial of two former UT football players. A.J. Johnson and Michael Williams are accused of raping a woman in November 2014. The men say they're innocent, and the woman acknowledges having consensual sex with Johnson in the past. 10 News reporter Cole Sullivan has been in court all morning. He joins us now live from downtown Knoxville with the latest. Cole, good afternoon.
Hey Heather, good afternoon. Well, the prosecution just wrapped up their opening statements. They gave their side of the story. They say that the alleged victim and former Vol linebacker A.J. Johnson had sex twice before the night of the alleged rape. But they say this time it was not consensual. The state says the two men, A.J. Johnson and Michael Williams, raped the victim, the alleged victim, in Johnson's room. The prosecutors say that she was scared to fight them, but did say no, rather. She did say no and began to cry. Part of the prosecution's argument is that the two men had power, privilege, and protection as football players on UT's campus. They say the men were big physically, but also big men on campus. We're going to hear from the defense this afternoon as they give their opening statements and their version of the case, their version of the story. And then as the trial continues, we're also expected to hear from the alleged victim. She'll testify as well. Back to you.
It will certainly be interesting to see how it all plays out. Cole Sullivan live for us in downtown Knoxville. Cole, thank you.